Hey everyone, Math 6 10.2 video. Today we're talking about histograms. Alright, so what's a histogram? Well, a histogram is kind of like a bar graph, but it has some nuances. We can call it a bar graph that shows the frequency of data values in intervals of the same size, okay? So let's look at this one here. This is a histogram, okay? So we have age and frequency. So maybe this is the age, different ages of people who, how about people who visit the library, okay? So we have the frequency of people who visited the library separated by age. So how many people between 20 and 30 visited the library? 2. How many people between 30 and 40 visited the library? It's this bar right here, and it's 4. Okay. Now, a difference between histograms and bar graphs is that in histograms we do not have gaps in between our bars, but in a bar graph you have gaps. And then also a bar graph really separates things by categories. So here you have like the USA, India, UK, New Zealand, and Japan. But here on our histogram, this x-axis, this bottom axis, everything is number ranges, right? So for here is 100 to 149, and then you have 150 to 199, and 200 to 249, technically speaking. Okay, so those are kind of the differences. Again, histogram is a type of bar graph, but it is different. Again, no gaps and number ranges down here, not categories. Alright, so next what we're going to do is we're going to interpret a histogram, okay? So the histogram below, right here, shows the ages of museum visitors in one day, okay? So during one day, there was a bunch of, people coming into the museum, and someone was at the door, asking people, hey, what's your age? Trying to do maybe a study, okay? And this is what they found. Alright, so we're going to answer a couple questions based on this histogram, okay? First of all, which interval contains the most data values? Well, these are nicely labeled for us in this one, and it's pretty obvious, and it's this one, right? It's going to be the tallest one, the most data values, okay? And so we would say what interval, so again, an interval is not just a number, it's a range, and so we'd say the interval of 20 to 25. Now, how many people... I'm going to add in a new question that kind of relates to this one. How many people were in that interval? Okay, well, we might say, well, there's only one bar, so maybe it was only one person, but this bar is like taller than all the other ones, right? So that can't be. So what I'm going to do here is kind of draw just a real quick kind of line. Try to make it parallel to the top. Nope. Top of that one, and there we go. Okay. So it hits right over here. Okay, and where is that? Well, right between 50 and 60. So that would be what? That would be 55. And I'll draw it up here. Okay, 55. 55 what? Well, that's the number of people who visited the library who were in this interval of 20 to 25. So I don't know if it was 55 21-year-olds. It could have been. It could have been 50 22-year-olds and 5 23-year-olds. The point is there were 55 people who visited the library who were between the ages of 20 and 25. Okay, so let's keep going. What interval contains the fewest data values? It's going to be here from 0 to 5. Okay, those folks, right? Probably not going to be big museum visitors, as there's, not a lot at most museums for kids that young to do. And then how many visitors were age 0 to 10? Well, there isn't an interval for 0 to 10. So how would we figure that out? Well, it's easy, because we know kids who are from 0 to 10 would just be a combination of both of those groups right there. So how many were from 0 to 5? I'm seeing right there as being 15. How many from 5 to 10? I'm seeing it right there at 20. So how many people in total? There were 35 people ages 0 to 10 who visited the museum. Alright, so let's say you visit Los Angeles, and naturally you're going to run into some superstars, and you're going to get some autographs. So you did some research on IMDb, and you developed the following table right here that contains information about the number of movies the stars that you met have been in. Okay, so let's look at this table real quick. So what the table shows us is a number of things, okay? Remember, the frequency is the number of, in this case, so we're talking about people that we met, the number of people we met. So you met 5 people, but those 5 people, what about them? Well, they were in 1 to 5 movies. You also met 15 people who were in 6 to 10 movies. You met 20 stars who had been in anywhere from 11 to 15 movies. Now, you met only 10 people who'd been in 16 to 20 movies, and you only met 5 people who were in a bunch of movies, 20 to 25, okay? So we're going to make our own histogram here. We're going to build a histogram. We need a couple things first. One is a title, okay? So what should our title be? Well, what's the table talking about here? What's about the people who've been in movies? So maybe a good title is the same title here, movies that they worked on. Just like that, okay? Now we need horizontal, so that's this way, our x-axis, and vertical, so our y-axis, labels. Alright, so we got our title now, let's do these labels. So how about for down here? Remember, down here is where your ranges or your intervals go. So they give us the intervals here, 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15. So we're going to make sure those are evenly spaced out, and we got to make sure we get all the way from 1 to 5 to 20 to 25. Alright, so give myself enough room, works perfectly. Now let's talk about what it kind of the title or the label of this axis would be, because those are our frequencies, or not our frequencies, those are our intervals, but where did that come from? Well, it came from that column of the table, which was the movie column, right, or movies. Now over here, what is this, what are we going to do here? Well, the title is frequency, okay, so let's use the same title. F-R-E-Q, that looks really sketchy. Frequency, okay, and these are going to line up with the lines, okay, and they're going to come from here. So what are the different frequencies we have? Well, we have 5, and then 15, 20, 10, 5. So remember, our histogram could look like this, right? And like that, and like that. So it could vary, right? So what's maybe the smallest we could go, or we would need to go in the largest? Well, we always have to start at 0 anyway, but then I got like a 5, a 15, 20, but 10 and then a 5. So I need enough lines to get me up to 20, basically, because that's the largest. So let's see if I do, maybe if I go by 5. So that'd be 5, 10, 15, 20. That'd be enough, right? So let's go 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so now it's all labeled and everything. We just need to kind of draw in our bars, okay? And now remember, we don't leave spaces in between our bars. We kind of make them connected. So let's just go one by one at our table. How many movie stars did you meet who were in anywhere from 1 to 5 movies? Well, you met 5, right? So we're going to come to this 1 to 5 column, and we're going to do a little bar here that goes up to the 5, and it goes right down to right about there, and we can go ahead and color it in if we want. Okay, now how about how many people did you meet that were in 6 to 10 movies? Well, here's our 6 to 10, and you met 15 of those folks, so we're going to go up to the 15. A new bar, it's connected like that, and not like that, more like that, well, not like that. Stylus, not the greatest tool, but it works. Alright, 11 to 15, I think you get the idea, so why don't you go ahead, pause the video, and finish this out. Alright, so there you go. Hopefully yours looks identical to that. So neatness, on this, I apologize, the stylus isn't great, but we could use straight edges if we had them available to us to make it a little bit neater. Alright, y'all, that's all I got for you on histograms. Thanks for sticking with it, and I am going to see you soon.